Good.
Casey, you good to go? Cool. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach and go into questions. With it just being two of you, feel free to jump in and ask your questions. Coach?
All right. Certainly disappointed with yesterday's result. I have an opportunity to go back and looking at the film. There's some positive things to build off of. You know, we're gonna build off of those things. Plenty to identify in terms of a lot of work to be done in all three phases of the game. Got to start faster on defense. Two 16-play drives to open the game gives no one an opportunity to get into rhythm, whether that be us on defense creating momentum or giving our offense an opportunity to catch rhythm in the early stages of the game. And offensively, opportunity for us to identify where we need to improve and get much better. But there were plays out there, plenty of missed opportunities. There's going to be an opportunity for our team to learn from yesterday, this afternoon, and then very quickly move on to UTEP. The preparation for UTEP has already started. Meetings today will probably be 30% review of Rutgers and 70% focus on capitalizing on opportunity to prepare for UTEP on a short week.
Most sports books are currently carrying y'all as an underdog by a few points to UTEP. It was really projected to be one of your more winnable games this season. What's your reaction to potentially going in as an underdog in week 2?
Yeah, I've never paid attention to lines, never will. I think this group is at its best when it's an underdog, so that sits just fine with me.
Coach, just talking about yesterday, I think you guys called the fake punt when you were down 14. Could you just kind of walk us through what the communication looked like with the whole staff, especially Coach Jenick, and why you guys felt like that was the right decision to make?
Yeah, no, we had talked about that, for multiple weeks now, and knew that Rutgers was a heavy pressure team. Was going to find ways to come after multiple punts throughout the day. And we're very calculated in terms of the specific scenario where we thought that might be a good opportunity for us to take. Felt really good about where we were at from an execution standpoint with that look and that fake, and the guys that were executing on it. There's a point in the game where we needed to find a way to build some momentum, and we were down 14-0 at the time. Felt really good about the communication that went on the sideline leading up to the decision to call it in. The mechanics from that team were exactly what we wanted them to be. And, going back and evaluating it, would have loved to have seen, Rod push it a couple more yards vertical on the route. The kid from Rutgers, to his credit, made a great play. Renner's execution, Rod's execution, credit them. They didn't blink. Rod makes a nice catch. In a perfect world, we would have had it dialed up on, a 4th and 6. But feel again, we didn't go out to New Jersey just to play to stay in the game. We went out to New Jersey to win a football game, and felt like that call was an complete embodiment of that. We needed to find a way to flip the momentum, and the reason for that call was very much to do with that.
Is there an injury update on Matt Lawson, and what does the depth chart at defensive tackle look like right now? Have you given any thought to mixing in the two freshmen?
There's no update right now, and haven't gotten that far. I do feel good about the D-line depth in that room right now. I think that's something that has Coach Smith and that room has done a great job of building that up over the course of fall camp.
And Coach, looking at the offensive line, just what did you see from their standpoint? Obviously, a group that several players making kind of their inaugural starts in their careers, and a group that seemed to surrender pressure at times. But did you think they got better as the game went along, or just kind of what was your read from there?
Yeah, no, there's plenty to look at in terms of things that are positive to build off of, but that group knows that we need to improve. We need to do a better job of protecting our quarterback. We need to do a better job of establishing the run game, and that's something that they recognize as well. There's plenty to take from as positives, and we're gonna take those positives. We're gonna identify where we need to get better, and we're gonna be right back at it this afternoon preparing for UTEP.
Braun was your starter for Rutgers, and Brennan Sullivan came in late to
score a touchdown on that final drive. How much stock do you put into a drive that late in the game, and have you considered splitting possessions for UTEP or down the road?
Ben will be our starter for UTEP. Proud of the way Sully came in. You take stock in everything. I mean, everything's being evaluated. But no, Ben knows he needs to play better. We know we need to find ways to give him and the rest of the offense to more opportunities to create rhythm, and that comes with getting off the field on third down and fourth down defensively. But no, everything's being evaluated. Proud of the way that Sully handled himself, and proud of the way that our offense closed out the game.
And Coach, it seemed like in the second half of the game, you guys kind of used more schematic blitzes, especially like sending corners off the line of scrimmage. Was that intentional because of the lack of pressure the defensive line was getting, and do you kind of envision doing more of that going forward?
A lot of those pressures were very calculated in terms of attacking the run game and knowing that based on the situation, we had to find ways to get them behind the sticks. But none of the things that you saw in the second half were strong deviations from the game plan. There were certainly adjustments that were happening throughout the game, not just at halftime. It was a chess match throughout the game, whether that be in series, timeout, in between series, but all things that are within the framework of our defensive structure and the concepts that we teach. But we certainly knew that we had to pick our moments to be aggressive and find ways to get them behind the chains because we needed to get this stinking ball back to our offense.
Devin Turner made a huge impact against Rutgers as just a sophomore. What does it mean to you as a coach to see him continue to contribute at such a young age or early on in his career?
No, it's really exciting. I think the thing that's really exciting is he's showing up, he's flashing, and he'll be the first one to tell you he's still got so much room for an improvement. He's got an opportunity earlier in the game to finish on a ball, and he wants that opportunity back. He wants that INT. There's some things that he needs to continue to improve on in terms of his consistency. If he was sitting with us right now, I'd be telling him the same thing. He knows that, he understands that. Coach McPherson does a great job of pushing him, and we will continue to do that. But don't let my honesty, hide the fact that we're certainly very excited about his growth here over the course of spring, fall camp, into the beginning of the season, and know that Devin will be a critical piece of our defense, moving forward.
And it was the first game for you as a head coach and your entire new staff. What were the mechanics kind of looking like? If you guys wanted to go for it on fourth down, what did that communication entail? And especially, how did kind of Coach Holtz and Coach Vokalek play a role in that?
Yeah, no, in terms of those decision makings, it's it's a lot of conversation. Good conversation on game day stems from preparation prior to game day. There was conversations that were had leading into game day of what the mechanics of that would look like. Certainly communication with Coach Bajakian, communication, with Coach Holtz at time in between series, and then, finding a really good balance of trusting the wisdom that exists on this staff while also making decisions based on, my sense of where the game's at, that I feel are in the team's best interest.
Now that you have a game under your belt, how would you define Coach Holtz and Coach Vokalek's roles?
Coach Vokalek, incredibly involved in everything that's going on within the defense, on the defense side of the ball, someone that, along with the rest of the defensive staff that I'm leaning on for perspective and feedback on things that are going on with the game. DJ's certainly taking on a role in terms of game planning from a standpoint of just the organization of everything, while I'm wearing two hats right now. We got great minds in that defensive room that are taking on heavier loads than they typically would be, just because of the time and then the way that it's split, and DJ's doing a great job of helping me organize all that. When it comes to Coach Holtz, it's an extra eye for the offense. It's an extra eye for the defense in terms of him being able to see what's going on and give information back to coaches, most importantly myself. And then, Coach Holtz being over a 20-year vet as a head coach, it's even conversations, on the plane ride back, as we get off the plane. I mean, just he's won big games, he's lost big games, he's dealt with a lot of different things. Sitting in that head coach's chair, it's someone that can provide me with a lot of perspective. I think those that know me well understand that I'm incredibly self-critical, and after a loss like yesterday, I'm gonna have a tendency to try and shoulder as much burden as I possibly can. And a guy like Coach Holtz, hey Dave, we're gonna be all right. There's plenty of positives to take from this too. So both DJ and Coach Holtz have been just great resources to an already a staff that I certainly appreciate in terms of the way that they've continued to coach and prepare.
And you guys have now lost 12 straight games as a program, not since week 1 of last year as this team won a game. Just kind of, what would you say your mentality is to instill confidence in this group and to actually go out and find a way to win?
Yeah, we just at the end of the day we have to. There's no excuses. There's no explanations. What solutions are we finding to play winning football? And the easy thing to fall back on going into yesterday was, hey, this is a new team. Talk about fall camp. Well, we had an opportunity to really find out where we're at, both good and bad. Evaluate it, move forward, and how do we find a way to play winning football against UTEP? And the thing that I can control day in and day out is the energy, enthusiasm that I bring to the building. Meet these guys where they're at and speak truth into them. And what I mean by speaking truth into them is we have plenty of talent. We have a team that can win a bunch of football games this year. Speaking truth into them is making sure they understand that they know that I believe in them. They got a bunch of other people that believe in them, and momentum's a powerful thing. It's time to get the momentum going in the right direction, and then let that thing roll downhill. And again, that starts with, like I told them in the team in the locker room last night. We'll have a quick evaluation of the Rutgers film here this afternoon, but a majority of what we're doing today is focused on UTEP. How do we find a way to beat UTEP on Saturday?
Cam Porter only had 6 carries yesterday. How are you going to work to get him more involved this weekend against UTEP?
We're going to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down on defense and find ways to get the ball back to our offense so that we have more opportunities on offense. And we're going to find a way to get up, right, so that we can get our running backs more touches. It's a lot easier to feel comfortable running the football on a consistent basis when you're not down 2 scores in the first quarter or in the first half.
Looking at the big picture, Ben's a 6-year grad transfer. Brennan's a junior. If the team continues to struggle, would you consider working Sully in more to give him more experience to help the program down the line, or are you going to stick with Ben?
Ben Bryant is our starter for UTEP, and we plan on Ben being our starter moving forward. We evaluate everything at all positions, but we're not going to get into this conversation of we don't want anyone playing with this mentality that they're looking over the shoulder. We want Ben to go out there and rip it with a bunch of confidence and go help this team win games. And we're going to continue to push Sully and Ryan Holinsky and everyone in this program at all positions to say, keep pushing. Own your role, but keep pushing. We talk about owning our roles. Well, Brendan Sullivan has owned his role throughout camp and moving forward in the prep for Rutgers. That doesn't mean that Sully has to be satisfied with his role. There's plenty of guys on this roster. Robert Fitzgerald has owned his role, as a backup for our defense and a special teams guy. That doesn't mean that he has to be satisfied with it. We want him to continue to push to find ways to get on the field more often. So Ben's going to be our starter going into UTEP. I know our team will be backing him, and I know that quarterback room's going to continue to push to own their role, but also not be satisfied with the role that they currently have.
We saw yesterday Anto Saka get a chance to be on the field. I think he had 2 pressures in limited action. Is your plan to kind of integrate more of those former top prospects of Northwestern football as the year goes along, like Saka, Reggie Fleurim, Mac Uline, to kind of see the talent they have?
Yeah, no, I mean the plan is to give the guys opportunity that earn those opportunities, and Anto's done that. He's been, he flashes a ton and needs to continue to, feel really comfortable in all situations within our defense and play with a great deal of consistency. But to his credit, Anto has earned those opportunities. I'm really excited for that young man, and the same applies to everyone within their program. As they earn those opportunities, they're gonna find ways on the field. Thank you.